welcome. So, we're about to dive into a professional toolkit you think you know, but you probably don't. We're going to go way beyond the basics and see what really makes the modern workplace tick.
So, when you hear Microsoft Office, what comes to mind? Just Word and Excel, right? Maybe for writing school papers or throwing together a simple budget? If that's you, you're only seeing like the tip of the iceberg. It's a super common way to see it, but it completely misses the point of what this suite is actually for.
So yeah, think again. We're going to crack open the full toolbox here, the one that really powers the professional world. Let's break down how this whole suite is designed not just to get you an A in class, but to be a non-negotiable part of your entire career.
All right, first things first, let's get our bearings. In the huge world of productivity software, where does Microsoft 365 actually fit in? Who is it really built for?
Okay, so think of it like this. Google Workspace, it's awesome. It's web-based, super agile, great for real-time collaboration, perfect if you're a nimble startup. But Microsoft 365, it's playing a different game. It's all about the raw power and security you get from full-blown desktop apps. That's why it's the foundation, the bedrock, for huge companies and really complex professional setups.
Okay, so let's do a quick flyby of the tools you probably already know. We'll just set a baseline here before we get into the really good stuff.
Right, so you've got the essentials, of course, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. But look, Word isn't just for typing. It's for building properly structured reports, with citations and everything. And Excel, it's so much more than just a sum formula. We're talking complex data modeling, pivot tables, the whole 9 yards. And PowerPoint, well, that's how you tell a compelling story with your data. Getting these down is step one.
But making stuff is only half the battle, right? The other half is communication. And that's where tools like Outlook and Teams come into play. Outlook is your command center for professional communication, and Teams is where you collaborate on projects in real time. Think of them as the glue, the connective tissue that keeps everything and everyone in sync. Doesn't matter if you're in the same room or on opposite sides of the planet.
Okay, now, let's pump the brakes for a second. We're going to focus on the one tool that is the real dividing line between a casual user and a power user. It's the suite's secret weapon, the one most people have but almost nobody really gets, Microsoft Access.
So before we jump in, what the heck is a database anyway? Honestly, at its core, it's just a really smart, organized way to keep track of information. The best way to think about it? Imagine a whole bunch of spreadsheets that are all linked together and can talk to each other. That's a database.
Now, the word query, it sounds kind of scary, right? Super technical, something only a coder would do. But what if I told you that you run queries all the time? Like every single day?
No, seriously, think about it. Every single time you search for something on Google, that's a query. You're literally asking a question to a gigantic database, the web, and it's giving you a specific answer. So, see, the basic idea is something you're already an expert at.
And here's the cool part about how it works in Access. It lets you build these questions visually. You don't have to be a coding genius. You're just pointing and clicking, telling it, I want to select this kind of info from this specific table, but only where it meets these criteria. It's basically like you're a detective and you're interrogating your data to get the exact clues you need.
Okay, but here's the catch, and it's a big one. Access is super powerful, for sure, but it lives in a very specific place, a Windows desktop. So if you're a Mac user, or you're on a Chromebook, or trying to use your phone, yeah, you're out of luck. There's just no native app for those. It really is a specialist tool for a specific setup.
So let's pivot a bit and see how this all clicks together out in the real world. How do all these separate tools actually combine to solve problems for big industries?
And this is where you really see how versatile the whole suite is. In healthcare, for example, Teams is a game changer for telehealth, while Excel is busy tracking patient data. Jump over to finance? Well, Excel is still the absolute king for financial models, and then they use PowerPoint to pitch those results to investors. Every single industry kind of cherry picks the exact tools they need from the toolbox to get their specific job done.
So, okay, we've gone through all this. The big question is, why should you care? Why does getting good at this whole ecosystem, especially the more advanced stuff, actually matter for your career?
You might look at that subscription price, $100 a year or so, and just think, ugh, another subscription, just another bill. But that's totally the wrong way to look at it.
Instead, you got to see it as an investment in your professional return on investment, your ROI. The real value here isn't the software itself. It's the skills you're building, skills that you can take anywhere. I mean, when you can do more than just write a report in Word, when you can model the data for it in Excel and maybe even manage the database behind it in Access, suddenly you're not just another applicant.
You're more efficient, more capable, and way more competitive.
Because really, that's what this all boils down to. These aren't just tools for managing information, they're tools for finding answers. Answers that are hidden deep inside your data. Your data is all neat and organized. The real question is, are you ready to start asking the right questions?